What if the legend of Bigfoot wasn't just a myth, but a suspect in a real-life disappearance? In the fog-choked forests of Oregon, something terrifying happened.
A young woman named Sarah Griggs went missing without a trace. No body, no clues, just a torn tent and massive footprints. This is the story of how a peaceful hiking trip turned into a nationwide cryptid investigation.
Eyewitnesses, police, cryptozoologists, all had something to say, but the truth remains buried.
Was it Bigfoot or something worse? This is Bigfoot Crime Files, the missing hiker that shocked a town.
Sarah Griggs was an experienced solo hiker. She knew the Oregon backwoods like the back of her hand. She set out from her cabin near Pine Ridge Trail and texted her sister, "I'll be back by sunset." That was the last anyone heard from her. Search and rescue teams were dispatched after 24 hours. Helicopters scanned the forest canopy while volunteers combed the trails. Then, they found her camp. The tent was shredded, the fire pit still warm. Nearby, they spotted prints, 18 inches long and deeply pressed into the soil. "These weren't bear tracks," said one park ranger. The case went from hiker rescue to creature investigation. Pine Ridge was a quiet town where nothing ever really happened, until Sarah Griggs disappeared. Locals described her as friendly, adventurous, and always respectful of the forest. Volunteers flooded the trails, hoping to find any clue. Flyers with Sarah's photo were posted on every telephone pole and storefront. Local cafe owners, shopkeepers, and neighbors all pitched in. But something strange started to surface in the interviews. Several longtime residents admitted they'd seen something in the woods. Something big. One man described an ape-like creature watching from a ridge. A hiker claimed to have heard heavy breathing behind him, though no one was there. A retired hunter said he once followed strange tracks deep into the woods, then turned back. He said, "Whatever made those prints, it didn't want to be followed." Another woman recalled hearing screams in the night, high-pitched and inhuman. These stories had circulated for decades, often brushed off as legends. But now, with a missing person involved, they suddenly felt more real. Some residents feared speaking openly, afraid of ridicule or something else entirely. One man even claimed his dog refused to enter the forest that week. Meanwhile, the local sheriff tried to maintain order and focus on facts. But deep down, he admitted the case was unlike any he'd ever handled. As the days passed, the line between folklore and reality began to. As the local search efforts waned, state authorities stepped in. Helicopters scanned the forest canopy, looking for any sign of Sarah. Ground teams used drones and sent dogs, but the trail had gone cold. Her torn tent was the only concrete evidence they had. Investigators found massive footprints nearby, measuring over 17 inches. These prints didn't match any known animal in the region. Wildlife experts were brought in to examine the evidence. "Not a bear, not a cougar," one expert confirmed. A local detective began mapping all recent disappearances in the area. A disturbing pattern began to emerge, all near deep trail systems. Multiple hikers had vanished over the past decade, but none like Sarah. She had GPS, a working phone, and survival training. Her phone was never recovered, only a faint signal ping near a waterfall. Dive teams searched the area, but found nothing in the depths. Her journal, recovered from her backpack, contained strange entries. One note read, "I think I'm being followed." Another, "Heard heavy footsteps last night. Not a deer." The tone of her writing grew more frantic by the day. Forensics tested the torn fabric of her tent. It showed signs of being slashed. The cuts were too clean, too deliberate, ruling out animal activity. Detectives now considered foul play, possibly human. But the forest had no suspects, no known criminals living nearby. Trail cameras placed in the area picked up nothing for weeks. Until one night, a tall silhouette crossed the path at 2:33 a.m. The footage was grainy but haunting. Investigators enhanced the image, revealing a broad shape and glowing eyes. Paranormal forums began to circulate the clip, calling it the Watcher. Police refused to release the full footage, citing an open case. Some officers admitted off-camera they were spooked by what they saw. One resigned shortly after, citing stress and some. With the search officially paused, speculation took center stage. Locals whispered theories that ranged from the rational to the outlandish. Some blamed wild animals, suggesting Sarah was attacked by a cougar or bear. But no signs of a struggle, blood, or remains were ever found. Others believed she got lost in the thick wilderness and perished. That theory was plausible until new evidence came to light. A week after the search ended, hikers reported hearing deep guttural growls near Sarah's last known location. They also discovered fresh, massive footprints along a muddy creek. Investigators returned to the area with casts and measuring tape. Some blamed wild animals, suggesting Sarah was attacked by a cougar or bear. They were unlike any known animal in the region. Wildlife experts were baffled and refused to confirm or deny anything. The local sheriff's department remained tight-lipped, but leaked radio chatter revealed they considered a non-human element early on. Then came the cell phone footage. A camper in a nearby forest captured a brief clip of a tall, dark figure moving quickly between trees. It was grainy, but the size and movement were chilling. Cryptozoologists around the country began calling it the Pine Ridge entity. Online forums exploded with comparisons to Bigfoot sightings across North America. Sarah's case was no longer just a disappearance. It became a phenomenon. Local hunters reported deer carcasses ripped apart in unnatural ways. One hunter swore he saw glowing eyes staring back at him from the trees. When he aimed his flashlight, the figure disappeared silently. Could all of this truly point to Bigfoot, or something else entirely? The deeper we looked, the darker the truth seemed to become. As the mystery grew, it caught the attention of the cryptid hunting community. Paranormal investigators, YouTubers, and thrill seekers descended on Pine Ridge. They brought with them night vision gear, thermal cameras, and audio traps. Some came to solve the case, others came to chase fame. One team set up base near the site of Sarah's last GPS ping. They operated mostly at night, claiming that's when he comes out. Strange howls were recorded at 2:17 a.m., long, guttural, and unnatural. One clip even showed movement behind thick trees. It was huge, one hunter said, too fast to be human. The footage was shaky, but it ignited another online firestorm. News crews started showing up to cover the growing frenzy. The town of Pine Ridge became a hotspot for believers and skeptics alike. Hotels were booked, and diners filled with talk of the beast. Some locals embraced the attention. Others just wanted it to go away. One cryptid team captured footage of a massive handprint on a tree. Another recorded glowing eyes watching them from the ridgeline. But not every team made it through the night. One group reported equipment failure and hearing whispers in the dark. A drone mysteriously dropped out of the sky and crashed in the river. They left the next morning, pale and silent. Still, others pushed deeper into the woods, driven by obsession. Some even claimed Bigfoot was protecting something territorial and ancient. Theories spiraled out of control. Interdimensional beings, government cover-ups, or a forest spirit. But one thing was clear. No one who entered came back the same. And the longer they stayed, the louder the forest seemed to breathe. Weeks turned into months, and the official search for Sarah Griggs was closed. But the case left a scar across Pine Ridge. Locals still whisper about what really happened in those woods. The trail where Sarah vanished is now avoided, even by hunters. Her torn tent was removed, but the footprint casts remain in evidence lockers. Her parents eventually moved away, unable to live near the pain.
A small wooden cross now stands where her campsite once lay. Fresh flowers are often placed there by strangers. Despite countless theories, no definitive answer has ever emerged.
Some believe she got lost and succumbed to the elements. Others are convinced she encountered something not yet understood.
Her last journal entry remains the most unsettling clue. It read, "I heard it again. It's outside my tent." Investigators believe the entry was written just hours before she vanished. Even skeptics can't explain the giant prints and strange footage. Cryptozoologists still argue over the blurry trail cam clip. Was it Bigfoot? A man in a suit? Or something unknown entirely? Some believe the government knows more than it lets on. But most agree, something is not right in those woods. The town now hosts an annual Sarah Griggs vigil, lit with lanterns and silence. Every year, people come with flowers, flashlights, and quiet prayers.
But no one stays past dark.
Those who do say they hear breathing or branches cracking. A few claim they've seen a tall figure watching from the ridge. Whether legend or truth, one thing remains. Sarah Griggs is gone, but the forest remembers.
And maybe, just maybe, she was never the first or the last. Thank you for watching Bigfoot Crime Files. Subscribe to the Bigfoot Simulation for more unsolved mysteries, cryptid sightings, and wild forest lore. Don't miss your next adventure into the unknown. Like, comment, and share if you believe in Bigfoot. Stay curious. Stay safe.